I have to admit that I did not really spend much time in Manpower mode, even though it was in beta around the same time with Asteroid. But it seems like this game mode just never catch on after it came out of beta in 2015. I think the last time its name was ever mentioned again, it was when SolarLite joined a server and did a substantial amount of trolling. Well, it's been 2 years since that happened, and I think we can have a definite review on Manpower mode now. The first thing you notice when entering this mode is probably the game asking you to equip the Grappling Hook. I'm pretty sure all of you know what this thing does, unless you happen to have a very narrow taste in media. Now, the Grappling Hook here is not really the best one I personally came across. The movement is not really fluid like in Just Cause or Ultra Kill, and the hook's travel speed is also noticeably slow. I know this is for balancing, but it just makes the hook feel so sluggish to use, even though it's supposed to be the opposite. It works fine, but I've seen better. However, when it comes to attaching the player, this is what I don't like. When a hook is attached to the player, it's impossible for the victim to get rid of it without killing the hook's owner, and vice versa. Or if the hook's owner manually let go of the target. You can try finding something to block the line of sight, but the time window is usually very small. As you can imagine, it's really fucking annoying. What? Oh no, you have replay! No! Oh shit! No! Get him! No! Oh my god!
Come back! Mirror, come back!
Stop!
Come back.
No! Manpower is played with a capture the flag rule set, but it has some changes. Firstly, you cannot capture the enemy's intel if your team's intel is not at a spawn point, which is fucking stupid. I can't capture because the flag is not at the enemy has dropped. Really? What? What bullshit is this? When you're carrying the intel and not carrying any power up, you get some health regeneration. If you don't cap the flag in a time limit, you get marked for death. Okay, now that's just overkill. And I don't think your typical TF2 player would really care if someone is holding the intel for too long. Maybe except for tryhards. You also respawn almost immediately, there's no crit once the intel is capped, and you spawn with a brief seconds of uber charge. You'll understand why these exist once we get to the power up later. I think the first two would really improve capture the flag as a game mode, and the uber charge can be applied to TF2 in general, because it would make spawn camping a lot less tedious to break out. Some weapons and classes are changed for this game mode too. Like all melee weapons do more damage except for Demo Man with shields, and you probably guess why. The Uber Saw is nerfed to 10% per hit, meanwhile the Engineer's building upgrade is boosted to 50 per hit, and he also deploys building faster. Scout straight up takes no fall damage at all, and the Battalion's backup takes a lot more damage to fill. So yeah, you basically steps into an alternate universe when joining a Manpower server. Manpower also has its own balancing mechanic, which is a form of an invisible scoreboard, and it calculates how well each teams are doing. If imbalance is detected, it will either spawn a unique crit power-up, which allows you to deal more damage against engineers' buildings. Or alternatively, it will swap players from both teams. In practice though, the player swap happens at the most random time possible, with even more random player choices. Bruh, I swear this mode has the most random ass auto balance ever. The game also might decide that you're doing too well and kneecaps you for a while. This domination effect causes you to be marked for death, and most power-ups you use are basically less effective. You cannot get rid of this by rejoining, by the way. I know that we have to balance out the skill issue, but Jesus Christ, this is too far. Because this effect lasts 10 whole minutes.
When China doesn't work, I'm still gonna be.
God damn it, what the fuck? Is this like is this like legal IP ban or something? Bruh. And I presume that everyone here knows what Power Up is, because if you don't, wow, I guess you don't really play a lot of games. Strength is very straightforward. It reminds me of how people like the Jacob gun so much in Borderlands.
If it took more than one shot, you weren't using it, Jacobs.
It increases your damage except for crit damage, which would be overkill otherwise, and your weapons will ignore damage fall off. I very much appreciate its simplicity, although soldiers and demo men are neutered by this power up, because the self damage is so strong that rocket jumping and sticky jumping becomes incredibly risky.
Okay, will that double your damage if you're rocket jumping?
Yeah. Man, holy shit.
Oh shit.
Rocket jumping took off my half my health. Right, I have strength with the Vamp Force of Nature. I have the Hill Walker. Resistance is basically the Vaccinator and the Razorback on top. I don't like it on its own because just imagine a permanent Vaccinator Ubercharge that you cannot backstab or melee. However, it's pretty useful when fighting someone else who has a power-up.
You have resistance, you fucking
Yeah.
cunt.
What about it?
Okay, how much damage do I did? 51?
When it comes to agility, it's so mediocre. You probably drop it in favor of a more powerful power-up. Don't get me wrong, faster movement speed, no fall damage, and instant weapon switch are always welcome. But I think the only people who are gonna get the most use of it are scouts, combo pyros, spies, and maybe demo knights. It also increases your jump height, but it tends to mess up your movement instead of actually helping you.
I'm now
He's now the boss.
Okay, don't jump with agility because you jump so fucking high. Haste is basically agility but for your weapons, and that makes it better in almost every single way. Not only do you reload or shoot faster, but you also get increased clip size and ammo reserve. Hell, you even get increased movement speed from it. Because of its benefits alone, this power-up is borderline overpowered. Special mention for the Soda Popper, the Beggar Bazooka, and the Sniper Rifles. When combined with the Soda Popper and the Bazooka, these two weapons become incredibly easy to spam. And with the Sniper Rifle, you aim almost instantly. And your bullet charges faster than Bazaar Bargain with maximum hits. Right there behind you.
Why do I do it? He has a glove!
I have a glove! My glove, bitch! My NG has a Stendo mag.
I don't want your sympathy. Would you see that?
Oh my god! Precision can be overpowered but mostly controllable. What I like about this power-up is that it basically turns every shotgun in the game into what is essentially slug shotguns.
Go fuck yourself, Evan.
Ooh, slug shot.
Winter, put the funny ammo away.
No! It also increases your projectile speed, but they are so fast, you pretty much cannot rocket jump with it.
Funny. But your Blake is funny with Scout.
I cannot rocket jump with the precision because the rocket will explode before I can jump. My rocket disappeared before I could jump. However, I think the sniper is the best for this power-up, and ironically, he already has the most precise weapon in the game. Because while precision is basically the same as haste for him, it also allows him to do twice the damage. While this might make him overpowered, remember that this game mode has people going around in grappling hooks. It is also weirdly biased towards soldier and demo men, because it increases the clip size of their explosive weapons and makes them immune to their own explosions.
Why do you have precision on a fucking... on a demo knight?
Ah yes, instead of swinging, he just stabs someone. Vampire also has the explosive class bias, but even more so than precision. Because while Pyros and Heavies get less health from attacking enemies, Demoman and Soldier don't get penalized for it. It even increased their clip size. Because every damage returned as health, keyword on every, so as long as you land direct hits, you basically never die. For a soldier, it's the black box before gunmetal on steroids. At the same time, the damage resistance and increased max health are so unnecessary and basically overkill for a power-up already giving this much benefits.
Vampire, the name, Vampire.
Yeah, what does Vampire do? I mean, what does Vampire normally do?
They get killed by Pyro because they are afraid of the sun.
No!
Good job. Save the haste.
I have Vampire and Force of Nature. What are you gonna do?
God damn it.
Speaking of overkill, regeneration simply should not exist. Because you get your health back so fast with it, like Jesus Christ! It's nigh impossible to kill someone carrying this power-up, and probably one of the most annoying ones.
Yeah, it would be true fault, to be honest.
No.
Alright, what are you gonna do? Dude, Jesus Christ.
It's okay, Jesse, I'm gonna go. No, Jesse.
What are you trying to do? Dude! Bruh. Reflect is the other annoying one, because while it makes your enemy take damage when they shoot you, it also increases your health all the way to 400, allows you to destroy sentry guns by simply existing, and applies knockback to the enemy every time they hit you. The last one can be very annoying when the weapon in question causes bleed or afterburn. What the fuck, Sam? Oh, no! I regret shooting at a reflect person with a strength power up. I really regret it. Knockout forces you into melee combat while helping you play with increased health, knockback immunity, and your melee fucking slaps.
Oh my goodness gracious, bro.
Oh shit!
Yep.
No.
No!
I will kill you very slowly. At the end of the day though, it's more or less a gimmick power-up, because melee combat in general in TF2 is not really good. And the very person who would benefit from this, the Demo Knights, he pretty much gets the least benefit compared to the other classes. The King power-up is it's such a mishmash of different power-up to the point where itself is a master of none. It increases your health and also provides you and your nearby teammates health regeneration, faster attack and reload speed, and it basically gives Sniper a diet version of precision power-up and discount haste for the medigun. I know it's a support power-up, but it definitely has an identity crisis. Plague basically allows you to roleplay as Classic Medic and his virus. I am TF Classic Medic! Fuck you! But in practice though, it's only useful for Spy, Scout and Demo Knights, because you either have to be touching someone or hitting them with melee weapon to infect them. It also allows you to pick up medkits from far away, and Plague victims deal less damage against you. But nobody cares about that. I end the play! Yes, I killed half of Europe in the 13th century. It was me, Jesse. Supernova is a one-time use power-up, allowing you to charge up your special attack with damage and time, which will stun anyone you can see in a radius. Yes, anyone you can see around you. But it's held back by the most unappealing part of its mechanic. It's the Grappling Hook secondary fire, which makes using it very tedious at times, because unless you have enough distance to grapple to, you must have a lightning fast reflex. No!
Oh shit.
Oh, then it'll be fine.
I don't know about that, man.
Jack.
Oh, I need to get the fuck out to save myself.
See?
What? Oh, yeah, this is a... I didn't expect that it to go through the glass. So yeah, overall the power-ups are great but implemented poorly. There are some good power-ups, but there are also some that has unnecessary stats, which overcomplicates a simple concept. Some that has such a niche role to fill in, and some are just so overpowered within TF2's gameplay environment. And don't get me wrong, I like chaos in my TF2. There's a reason why I love the Halloween spells. And I even reviewed a chaotic map based on Frogger. But the fact is, they don't disrupt the gameplay status quo as much as these power-ups. I also find the Halloween spells a lot easier to learn than some power-ups. Because with Fireball, well, it's a fireball you can throw. Meanwhile, stuff like Vampire pretty much function like a Yu-Gi-Oh card. And that's on top of Mannpower's numerous changes to TF2's gameplay. Most of Mannpower maps are just reskins, so this section won't be very long. Foundry does not change at all, but since there's no way to move your spawn now, it has become incredibly tedious to move around. Like, just imagine playing a 5 CP map, but you always spawn at the last point. Yeah, that would be pretty annoying. And the map's geometry doesn't really make the Grappling Hook useful. While there are power-ups above the ground to encourage using it, there's not a lot of open spaces for traveling with it. So in a nutshell, it's 5CP Foundry but worse. Gorge is on the opposite side of Foundry. Despite being a 5CP map, it works well for the game mode because it's a lot more open. Although I don't like how the middle part is just reduced to one big choke point. And the spawn camping, holy fuck! The spawn camping is really bad here. The winning team can use the rooftop as vantage point, and if they have power-ups, God help you. There's a Thomas Lab with an accuracy in the roof. Man, seeing a heavy with accuracy power up, guess I'll die.
What? I'm playing MGM like. What do you mean?
Bruh.
I'm playing MGM.
A soldier came in with deflect and he just killed my sentry with that. Thunder Mountain utilized the first stage and is modified very slightly. It works just fine and the snipers are not much of a problem here, unlike in Payload because the grappling hook exists. That being said, this map feels rushed and unfinished because there are still some empty hallways and the intel sits on a random pillar, which looks extremely out of place. Hellfire is the only map that's Mannpower exclusive, so I won't blame you for forgetting that it ever existed. I mean, people dismissed it immediately when it was added during that one Halloween. However, what I will not forget is that this is probably the best map Mannpower will ever have. Because the layout was made just for this mode, it's so fun to play. Grappling Hook is the best it could ever be here. The only main downside is that it's easy to lock down the intel, which is something Capture the Flag mode also struggles with. And I would say I have a nitpick with this map, and that is while the layout is good, it feels more like it belongs to something like Doom or Quake. Oh no, guys, they're coming back with all the power-ups we dropped. Bulky, if you cannot pick, you have to change power up, like you have to drop it like an intel.
Bulky.
I know.
Bulky.
Man, this guy doesn't hate fucking anime, bro.
Oh my god, Bulky the Rock is my favorite anime of all time. Bulky the Rock.
Guys, stop. Guys, please. And that was the review of the entirety of Mannpower mode. It feels like someone is designing a shooter game inside of TF2, even though TF2 is just not suitable for it. Seriously, it strays so far from normal TF2 gameplay, it could have been a game on its own. It has the same uniqueness and problem as Slender Fortress and Saxton Hale, in that they are so different from the base game, you basically go back to learning from square one. The game mode is also unfriendly to community server hosting because somehow you cannot switch team while hosting a Mannpower mode match. Imagine having to rejoin just because you want to go to spectator mode.
For you for real?
Wait, you can't change team?
Can't change team.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think Mannpower does that.
Why?
And in the next episode, we'll take a look at another forgotten game mode that also used to be in beta as well. Pastime.